Okay, let's proof some yeast. So proofing yeast is just a way to kind of jumpstart your yeast, to get it moving, and to check for visual proof that our yeast is alive. That's all we're looking for here. We're just trying to see some bubbles on top and see some activity to know that our yeast is actually active. So you're going to take about a half a cup or 120 milliliters of the liquid from your recipe and warm it up. So if the liquid in your recipe is milk, you'd use milk. If it's water, you're going to use water. We're shooting for around like 110 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm at 115. I think a hot tub sits around 105 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. So, but it's not going to be so hot that you couldn't touch it, okay? So if it's so hot you couldn't touch it, your yeast is going to be, it's not going to work for your yeast. It will kill your yeast. So if you don't have a digital thermometer, err on the side of it being a little cooler, but you do want it to be pretty warm. Now you're going to mix into this water about a teaspoon of sugar. You could do a couple big pinches, and then you're going to mix in your yeast. I have 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast here. I'm using Active Dry, but you can do this with Active Dry or Rapid Rise, and that is about 1 envelope of yeast, or 7 grams of yeast. And I'm just kind of stirring this up to submerge the yeast. It's probably going to be kind of clumpy, but all I'm looking for here is to just submerge it all. What will happen is the water is going to hydrate the yeast and wake it up, because dried yeast is in a dormant state. It's a living organism, and it needs that moisture to wake it up. And then that sugar is going to feed it. The thing that yeast feeds on is sugar, and it will start creating the carbon dioxide gases. Now, you might not have sugar in your actual recipe. That's okay if you're not proofing your yeast. The yeast will feed on the starches from the flour, but if you're proofing it, you do need to add some sugar to this liquid or nothing's going to happen. And now we're just looking for some visual signs of activity. You want this to look like it's starting to be carbonated. You're going to eventually start seeing some foaming on top. You'll see some like little bubbles popping to the surface, and then the longer this sits, the more activity you will see. If you let this sit for about 5 to 10 minutes, it will start rising up in the container, and it should probably reach about the 1 cup mark at the 10-minute mark, by the 10-minute mark. If it doesn't, that's probably a pretty good indication that the yeast is not very active. I'm already seeing a lot of activity here, so I'm going to show you on the phone what we're seeing here. We are just about 30 seconds in, and if I hold the phone here, you will start seeing some bubbles popping to the top. It's not dramatic at first. The longer it sits, the more dramatic it will become, but see how we're already getting all this foaming on top? That is an indication that we have life, that our yeast is alive, and it's already starting to create some carbon dioxide gas. Now, while we're sitting here talking, you're going to start seeing this foam is starting to be created on top, and it's going to start getting higher in the glass. But it's going to still look liquid on the bottom. All this is water. It's just water, you know, yeast in water. So yeah, it's going to look liquid. It's not going to get foamy all throughout. It looks a little cloudy because I mixed that sugar and yeast in, but it's not going to foam on the bottom. It's just going to foam on the top. But you do not want to do this for a really long time. Really, at about that 10-minute mark, you need to put it in your dough if you are going to use it. Yeast, it will start dying off if you let it proof for too long, and it's not going to do a good job in your bread dough. But this is what we're looking for. I'll let it go a little bit longer and show you here. Okay, we haven't even reached the 10-minute mark yet, and this is where we're at. We've already risen up to 1 cup. Honestly, I don't even usually wait this long. I just wait until I see some good foaming happening on top, bubbles popping to the top pretty vigorously. I know I am good to go, and it's nice and active. But if you're unsure, wait at least 5 minutes and see if you can get it to rise up to the 1 cup mark. If it's not rising to 1 cup by 10-minute mark, it's probably not going to do a great job at rising your bread. It means your yeast is not very active. It could be that your water was too warm and you might have killed it. You don't really want to go above like about 120 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 48 degrees Celsius when you are proofing yeast. It can also mean that maybe your yeast is old. Maybe it's been in the back of your cupboard for a while and it has started to become inactive. There's a lot of things that could be happening, but if you're not seeing good bubbles when you proof it, it's probably not going to make good bubbles in your bread.